Hey guys,
I'm Jerry.
I'm Sierra.
We're ladies.
And we tangent. What?
Can I tell you that someone made a comment referring to the part where we talk before we say, "What's up, everyone?" They refer to it as a cold open.
It is a cold.
And now I feel like we're on SNL.
Ah!
Is that an SNL thing?
I don't know. I'm so confused.
What's a cold open?
What's a hot open?
A hot open would be,
What's
these
up,
legs.
everyone?
Oh,
what's up, everyone?
God, we fucked that up. That's why we only do cold opens.
One more time.
Okay. What's up, everyone? Hello.
My legs are hot and they're open.
I almost went, my legs. My legs. Oh, did I ever tell you that? Do you see that mark in this shoe?
In your Jesus sandal?
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's blood.
Okay. For what?
I was walking down the hill on my land.
Sure.
And a stick went directly into the tip of my toe.
Fuck, would you tell me?
And I went, ow! Actually, I think, can you see the hole at the tip of my toe? Why? I don't know why I'm having such a hard time showing you my toe.
Yeah.
Right here, you see it? I had to pull that stick out, and then it just started bleeding into my shoe.
Guess what? You're not going to have an episode because I'm going to be on the floor here in 2 minutes. All right, I'm going to tell you about we're going to pivot away from that.
I mean, are you going to tell me about your boo-boo?
Yeah, I have a boo-boo on my elbow, everybody. Here's the deal. I don't know how I got it.
Do you call them boo-boos or owies?
Boo-boos.
Or
obviously.
ouchies?
Ouchie or boo-boo, never owie.
Leave it in the comments below.
Owie feels too...
Hey, that's literally the title of something from Tor.
Yeah. Yeah.
Which you say.
Well, because I was drunk.
Okay. Don't tell me you never call it that.
Owie feels drunk.
Okay. All right. Fair.
I didn't want to give it away, but you did. Anyways.
Come see us on tour and then you'll know what that's about.
My boob. Please come see us.
Come see your boo-boo hole.
Come see my boobie hole.
Boobie.
Boo-boo. Boobie. Hey, New York. I'm actually going to low-key bully you right now. I'm not kidding.
What's your problem,
I'm
honestly?
doing to you what we did to Florida last time because you're going to ruin the world tour for all of us.
Yeah.
New York, you low-key bullied us into coming to you. And I mean, like, I had 2-3 people that were heavy in my DMs.
Two,
three max people. No, but they were like every day.
And they should tell their friends.
You need to
know who you are.
Hey, you wanted us so badly to come. You better be advertising. We'll never come to New York again.
I'll never come again.
Anyways, all that to say, please come to our first leg of tour. We're getting ready for it. We're so excited. Philadelphia, New York, Boston. Well, Somerville, technically. Close to Boston.
Yeah.
And Washington, D.C.
Yeah.
We're going to be there.
If you're in New Jersey,
come to us.
Come to the New York one.
Please.
I think there's a ferry you can ride.
I mean, you gotta hope.
And I do.
I'm always hoping for a ferry somewhere.
I'm always hoping for a ferry to ride.
That's what I know. Period.
Yeah.
What the fuck? My elbow! My boo-boo! Okay, what I was gonna say about it was... I'm off the rails.
Ladiesandtangents.com, where you can find your tickets at your city.
New York. Please. I'll never forgive you.
Stop making us beg. It's embarrassing.
Oh, it's so embarrassing, but please. So my boo-boo. I went to a wedding last Saturday. It's been almost a week.
Okay.
I don't know about you, but weddings are sacred to me. Weddings are, and I'm talking not the marriage part. I'm talking
the reception.
That is when I let loose.
Okay.
That is when all preconceived societal norms are out the window for me.
Yep. Mm-hmm.
And I am loose to be who I was always meant to be. And when I say this, I mean, normally weddings I'm invited to as a guest. I don't behave like this at weddings I was personally invited to. But when I go as a guest of Corey's,
you're in feral form.
I'm feral. And I was at this wedding. So at one point, a friend of Corey's girlfriend who I met that night, who I am like lifelong friends with now. Obviously, we bonded in such a strong way. She gave me her Jesus sandals because I had really high heels on. And it was like these like brick almost dance floor. Like
interesting.
Laid brick. And I was like, beautiful, but also that's going to hurt somebody.
Yeah.
So I got these sandals to dance in, and then ended up kicking those off. And I don't know if you've ever danced on brick in bare feet. Fucked my feet up. They also had these like beautiful brick pillars, and I think I did a I think my arms were raised in a way that I took a chunk out of my elbow.
You chicken danced your elbow off a pillar?
I did. And Corey was saying, Sierra, by the way, I did not black out or brown out at this wedding. I had a respectable amount of alcohol. And I would like to say, because it was an open bar, that the amount of alcohol I had was the sweet spot to I'm dancing and still looking good, but I cannot feel the repercussions of what this is going to do to my 33-year-old body.
Wow, how do you get to that sweet spot? It's
5 or 6 White Claws over a period of about 7 hours.
Got it. Okay.
So I was really pacing myself.
Yep.
But also
That's important.
Yeah. That was my that was how I achieved it.
Yeah.
0 shots. Absolutely no liquor, and they had fully open bar, top shelf liquor. I was like, no. I had people in front of me getting Captain and Cokes. Wrong.
Don't do that.
That's too.
Don't do that.
You're gonna be.
Dunzo.
It's not a good time. It's not a good time. So Corey was like, Sierra, I've never seen you. Like, I knew you could dance. I've never seen you dance like that. And I was like, I don't know. I think Beyonce herself jumped into my body and just really let loose. However, I was very spatially unaware.
Yes.
I have cuts on my feet. The next day I woke up, not really hungover, but I did feel like I had gotten into a car accident. I'm sure. My muscles, you just almost fought that plant for touching you. My muscles are still sore, like horribly sore. I woke up and I was like, every move. So anyways, I encourage it, but also just know if you're over the age of like 27, your body is not going to respond to that the way that it did in your early 20s. And just be aware that you're older now and it's okay.
This is your reminder that you've aged.
You've aged, and that's okay. And you should do more walks.
Should be more active. You should do more mild cardio.
Sierra, we should work out more because there's no reason that you dancing last night should put you in like a 3-day.
Hey,
I couldn't get out of bed.
Hey, that's not true. That's why Zumba was created.
It's a great
because
workout.
of that. It is a great workout.
And I worked out for
the
like
fitness
4
marshal.
hours straight.
I'm obsessed with watching his little shorts on YouTube.
It's pretty good.
His little shorts as in the videos, and also he wears
his
tiny
shorts. I really like them.
I love his mesh top where I can see his tattoo.
Oh my God.
If you're Haley or Allison and you guys are also a part of the fitness marshal, just know that I love you guys. I love you so much. And if you're in New York, you should come to our show.
No, for real. What's up?
I heard the fitness marshal's going to be there, guys. You should come to New York.
That's what I know. Also, the other thing is during that wedding, when I had to take a pee break because it was slowing down, apparently the bride, who I did not know at all until the end of the night, I went back to the hotel room with the bride and the groom.
To their hotel room?
They invited us. Me
to
and Corey.
Their hotel room?
Their hotel room to have champagne with them at like 3 a.m.
What?
I don't know.
Did shit get weird?
Not at all. No, we talked
you were
about
like, this is happening, Corey. We're about to make their wedding night so special.
No, both of them had already said we're not having sex tonight because we're so tired and drunk. But then they still invited us back. And we were just talking about life and dreams. And it was we got trauma bondy for a minute. And I was like,
their wedding night?
They didn't know who they asked to come back.
Or maybe they did.
That's true. But before, I didn't know her. This makes sense. The trauma bonding now is that she's a huge Swiftie.
Aha.
And so during one point in the night, I go to the bathroom. When I come back out, the DJ is playing, by request of the bride, the 10-minute long version of All Too Well from Taylor Swift.
Of course.
And I look, and there is a full circle.
Lost in translation.
Dude, a full circle of just all women around this bride. And the bride is like pouring her heart out. And everyone is singing to her. She's singing back to them. And I'm like, what a beautiful moment. And then I see a man in the circle. And I'm like, what are you doing there, man? Get out. And then I look closer, and it is my husband.
And you're like, that checks out.
And he was he didn't know all the words, but he was vibing. He was having a good time. He really loves he loves moments like that. And
Yeah.
so I was like, I don't know if you looked around. You were the only man in that circle. He's like, I don't care. I thought it was a beautiful moment.
You said that to me on Snap, and you're like, "This is his green flag."
Greenest flag
Yeah.
was that I come out of the bathroom, and I guess one of his friends' girlfriends was like, "Come out," because he was like, "I love this song." And she's like, "Then come on,
Then come in here, you silly.
And he was like, "Okay." Anyways, it was a really fun night. Yeah, we ended up staying up till like 4:30 in the morning, trauma bonding with the bride and the groom. Went to sleep at one point. We left their room.
Oh, okay.
They did give us champagne and drinks to go.
And then we took bottle.
Another one of our friends back to our hotel room to have more of a trauma dumping. We dumped all over each other.
I'm like shocked by this.
No, there was no
You know
physical
why I'm
intimacy
shocked?
at all, but there was all talking about our parents.
You know why I'm shocked is because there's no way I would have made it past midnight.
No, you can't. No, this would never have been you. I can't believe I made it, but I was fueled by trauma. There's nothing that gets my adrenaline flowing.
Yeah.
Like people sharing the deepest, darkest moments of their life. And I'm like, I will be here for you and with you. And if you knew the friend that came back with us, it would all make sense.
Okay. Got it.
So it was just, at one point though, I was like in the bed falling asleep with my mouth open. This was at like 4:30. And he's like, well, I'm going to go. And I was like, all right, we have to leave in like 4 hours. So
yeah, that would be me. If there's a room full of people, I don't care. I'm going to sleep.
Yeah.
You guys can keep the lights on. You can be as loud as you want. Carry on. I hope you're all having a fantastic time. I will be asleep.
Yeah. No, we had a great time. I can't believe that I stayed up that late. But again, I'm a night owl. So like that was kind of, I was in my element. And me and Corey don't go out together a lot. So I think we were both like, I'm miserable a little right now. But like, this is a memory.
I want to have
this is our date night. We don't get these anymore.
I don't know when this is going to happen again.
Truly. It's probably going to be in another year. So it's fine.
Did I tell you about what Ollie said to me?
No. Why? I don't know. Maybe, but.
Because I don't want to tell you again and watch you do like a fake laugh.
Oh, do you think I would?
I don't know.
I just want you to know if I ever do a fake laugh at things you tell me twice, it's probably a genuine laugh. And I did forget that you told me the first time.
Okay.
That's just real.
I don't think I did tell you.
Okay, well then let's hear it.
Okay, all right. So
and I'll fucking stone cold Steve Austin you if
watch
you
it not even be funny. And now I just like
now I'm gonna be like
okay, so sitting on the couch with my kids, all right, and I look over and I was like, hey, you guys have to start growing down. You're not allowed to grow up anymore. I've had enough of it. Grow down.
Yeah.
And Ollie goes, we have to grow up. Now I'm devastated by this, right? So I look at him and I said, but I'm gonna miss you. Without even thinking, he looks at me and he goes, we're gonna be the same, but with beards.
Well,
he's not wrong. He's not wrong. He's like, you're being really dramatic. We're gonna be the exact same.
That sounds like a conversation I've literally had out of nowhere where he's like, I'm always gonna be me though.
Yes.
I am gonna hit puberty and that's gonna be a time that we have to get through. But after that though, still me.
Still me. Always gonna be me.
Yeah, but I'm looking at, Noah's 5'3" now. We took him to the doctor and he is 5'3". He is my height. We are eye to fucking eye. When they told me he was 5'3", I started like tears because I was like, this is the last year. You are taller than me by the end of this year. I guarantee it.
That's a grown man. That's fucking wild.
It hurts in my heart.
Wild.
And I was just telling somebody, it might have been on the stream the other day because I was talking about Noah and how he's going through it.
Yeah.
Okay. He's 12. So I get it. But he got upset at me the other day and had like an outburst.
Yeah.
And I was like, you're free to feel that way. And Corey said, he's like, you're not going to disrespect your mom. So you can go in your room and have those feelings, but you're not going to take it out on her.
Right.
So he walked out and then he walked into his room, walked back out, and he's like, I hope you know this is just the puberty. And walked back into his room. And I was like, we love a socially aware king. Thank you. Or socially and emotionally aware.
True.
He was like, I don't want to be feeling these ways, but I also cannot fucking help it.
Well, and that's how I normally deal with my stress.
Honestly, fair. Fair. And Corey was like, that's cool, dude, but like take it in another room. You're not allowed to take that out on your mom or me or your sister because she's a baby and she doesn't know.
Yeah.
But also, I appreciate you knowing where it's coming from and knowing that you don't just fucking hate us for no reason.
This is just
puberty.
God, I fucking hate hormones because it's like I can't stop them from hormoning.
Yeah.
But I know that that's why I'm reacting
You're
this
crazy
way.
bitch. Hormones. Did you ever watch that?
Is it another online thing?
No, it's Knocked Up.
Oh, yes.
Whenever she's freaking out, he's like, "Not you, Alice. You hormone." Is it Allison? I can't remember what the fucking name is. But I just know this is
Katherine Heigl.
Crazy bitch. Hormones. Izzy Steven. Or whatever.
Whatever your name is.
Anyways, that's all I have for you. Now we're going to get into deep shit. And if you were like, that's why I clicked on this episode, fucking sorry. This is who
it took
we
so
are.
long to get here.
I'm sorry.
Sorry.
But here we go.
Think you can stop what we do?
I doubt it. All right, so I accidentally just exited that out.
You sent to me what we were doing.
Fuck.
And I still am like,
you don't know? You don't get it?
Well, it's not that I don't get it. I didn't want to read too much into it because I wanted to have a genuine reaction.
I'm happy you didn't.
But because Sierra reached out to me yesterday, she's like, hey, just checking in. Are we in the right headspace to do a serious one? And I was like, honestly.
I was like, I don't want it to be like it was on Future Faking where you were like, I feel like I can't say what I want to say. And so I'm just kind of like numb and absorbing it. I didn't want it to be like that again. So I'm like, if you're not in the right headspace or feel like maybe this is something you can't even comment on at all, totally fine.
I think future faking happened at a really weird time because I had just had therapy and had like a realization in therapy. And so like normally when I talk about stuff, I've had time to process and I'm sitting here with a very clear mind, even if it's not a happy mind.
Sure.
Then I think it like snuck up on me and caught me off guard.
Mm-hmm.
But I told her I closed on my new build today and I am in the process of moving. I literally like just took a mattress up there and then came here to record and then I've got more boxes. You're talking about dancing making you sore? Fucking packing dishes.
I fucking hate moving.
Hunched over wrapping them in paper. But I said, honestly, it would be easier for me to talk about something serious than to try and be silly goofy when I'm just fucking wrecked.
Going through it. Yeah, 100%. So that's what we're going to do. And so this topic we're going to talk about, you already know because it's probably in the title, but it is called DARVO. It's going to be something related to abusive relationships, mentally or physically. So trigger warnings for that. Also, if you're like, guys, we get it enough, you don't have to listen to this one. It might be repetitive. At the same time, I feel like if one thing that we say someone hasn't heard and it makes the light bulb go off for them, then that's worth it, which is why I keep doing these, which are maybe terms that seem repetitive. They are online terms. They're terms that like aren't maybe medically
or scientifically like recognized
backed. Yeah. But they do come from, they're coined terms from psychologists that have then taken traction online. And DARVO was one that I kept seeing pop up. Yeah. So I was like, what the fuck is this? So I looked into it and I'm going to be reading mainly from this website, which is the domesticshelter.org website.
And I would say, obviously, if this isn't something that you are vibing with, totally understand. However, I would encourage anyone who's like, I'm not in an abusive relationship. I've never been in one. I really can't relate to this, to just stick around because there's a chance that someone you love is or will, and having this tool in your back pocket as kind of a preemptive thing rather than a reactionary thing.
We like proactive, not reactive.
Yeah.
Yeah. And also, by the way, a lot of these aren't necessarily exclusive to romantic relationships. This can be familial. This can be coworker. This can be any kind of social relationship you have outside of yourself as a person. You can experience DARVO. So that's why I want to talk about it. And we'll put these in our show notes, but I'm going to tell you right now that the article I'm reading is called Explaining DARVO, which stands for Deny, Attack, Reverse Victim, and Offender. It's called How Abusers Might Use These Strategies to Blame the Survivor. It's by Amanda Kippert. It's on domesticshelters.org, and it was made on November 23rd, 2022. So here we go. I'm going to be reading mostly from this, and then we'll be giving our own input after it because I am not a psychologist. I am not somebody who is trained in this. I am simply reading what others have said, and then we're talking about our own experiences, either of ourselves that we've lived or people we know.
Right.
Just a fucking heads up. So, this starts off by saying, and this is a direct quote, we've talked before about how survivors get arrested or even charged with domestic violence after they're the ones who call the police for help. By the way, I can say right off the bat, the reason why this struck me so hard was because that is literally the reason why people ask me why I didn't press charges against my abuser. It is because the police that came when I called for help literally threatened to arrest me for fighting back because they were like, he has a scratch on his face after I had been held down and strangled.
Mm-hmm.
Because I tried to fight back, they were going to arrest me and take me to jail. Because they can't, he wanted to press charges. They have two people telling them
it's a he said she said situation. They can't tell what happened first, and so if he claims it's self-defense and by the way she started it,
he was very composed when they arrived. I was very frazzled. They thought I was under the influence of something or drunk because of how fucking frazzled I was. Mind you, I had just almost been killed because I had somebody sit on my chest and choke me out in a parking lot full of people that were leaving for work. It was 6 a.m, so nobody really knew what they were seeing.
Right.
Anyways, that whole, again, trigger warnings for all of these, I guess, but I'm not afraid to speak out anymore, so I fully intend to. That is why I feel so passionately about this and why I want to keep speaking about it. So here we go. We've also talked about how abusers can gain sympathy from friends and family when they manipulate the story to make those outside the relationship think the survivor is the, quote, crazy one. In these frustrating situations, a tactic called DARVO, stands for Deny, Attack, Reverse Victim, and Offender, may be utilized. It's a way abusers or others, such as law enforcement or the judicial system, may redirect blame and taking the attention off of the perpetrator while accusing a victim of being the actual abusive partner. And again, it is very easy to do because most things like this are very he said, she said, and the person who is the attacker is a lot of times way more composed, they seem like I'll tell you who was a great example of this was when you see the and I'm sorry to bring this up, but it's just true. And when I saw it, I resonated with it so hard, and you don't get it until you are in it and you get it. Mm. But Gabby Petito, when you watch the police footage of them talking to her, she looks frazzled. She almost looks, quote unquote, crazy. That's what everyone said about her.
Yeah.
He looks so calm. Well, why do you think that is? Mm-hmm. It's a very normal reaction for her to have, but it paints the people who are there on the scene who don't know anything else as this person is erratic, and this person seems so calm. So it makes sense that she might have attacked him. But are we thinking about why she's acting so erratically and why the fuck he would be so calm in this situation? Mm-hmm. Why would he be so calm? Anyways. So here's the steps, the process of it. We'll go through them one by one. Number 1, deny. The abuser vehemently denies the survivor's account of what happened. So this involves gaslighting. So gaslighting the survivor to make the survivor doubt their memory of events. So literally as a survivor, you may start to question whether or not you're blowing it out of proportion. Am I making things seem crazier than they are? And a big portion of what they do is minimize what happened. It wasn't that big of a deal. I don't know why you're being dramatic about it. I don't know why you're blowing it up. Again, a thing that people would say, and I hate that I do, is when I would tell people what happened to me and I would say like, oh, he choked me. They're like, don't say choke. He literally strangled you. That is strangulation. That is a form of somebody who, and I don't know that I've ever even said this on the podcast. This might be the first time. Yeah. But strangulation is that's a felony. Like you can go to jail because it's attempted murder.
Yes.
That's what it is. Yes. Let's be so fucking for real. Choking someone is attempted murder.
Yeah.
He was choking me until I passed out. That is attempted murder.
Right.
So when I say that, and I still to this day minimize it to myself even, And I'm like, oh, he just choked me in a parking lot because we were in a tussle. What do you mean?
Yeah.
What do you mean?
Mm-hmm. And I think and I'm speaking for you, but also for myself. But when you're in a situation like that where you feel like you are so far down the rabbit hole and you've been protecting this person for so long, it's almost like you have to convince yourself it's not that bad because you've spent so much time convincing everyone else that it's not bad.
Well, and also pride is at play. Let's be so honest.
Yeah.
Pride is at play. Pride is there because, you are spending months convincing people this person isn't the monster they're telling you that he is, that they are. And you don't want to be seen as stupid. You don't want to be seen as wrong. You don't want to be seen as somebody who doesn't know what they don't know. You know what I mean?
Right.
Sometimes you want to be like, no, I know everything. So I know this person better than you know. And that's not the case.
Right.
And obviously, because when you're in it, it's very easy to get confused. These people are fucking masters at it. And they don't even know that they are half the time. But they are so good at convincing you that they're not doing bad things to you. Because to them, a lot of times, it has been done to them.
Yeah.
So it's normal.
Right.
It's normal. So why are you making a big deal? This is how I was raised.
Right.
This is how I grew up.
Right.
Number 2, attack.
Well, hold on. Before you go on, I want to, because that was deny, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you said that there in there, it can make you start to question, is it as bad as I thought it was? Something that I would suggest people to do if you find this happening. Now, obviously do this in a safe way. Do this if you feel comfortable. Start recording your conversations.
I was going to get to that at the end, but yeah, that is.
Because,
and also you need to look that up legally.
Yes.
Because in some states that is not legal.
Right.
To record somebody without their consent. So please look into
it up.
that.
In Ohio, only one person who is a part of the conversation needs to consent.
Yeah, that's
which if I were recording a conversation, if I consent to it, it doesn't matter if the other person does or knows about it. But that's not the case for every state. So yes, please look that up.
Yeah.
But it has been really helpful when I get in spirals and I'm questioning my reality to be able to go back and listen and say, or read, like if you journal stuff, if you can't record, if you journal it immediately after. I know sometimes it can be really hard. And again, make sure you can do this in a safe way, because if somebody finds what you're writing, I can't imagine what they could possibly do with that. But
also, I just want to say, with that, this website specifically, if you want to use it, it says on the very top of the website, abusers may monitor your phone. Please tap here for more safety and securely browse this with a password protected app. So if you are thinking this might be you, please access this website and do it safely in that way.
Yeah.
Sorry.
No, you're fine. And I just wanted to say, because or even if you have to make a voice note for yourself, after the fact, this is what's happened, this is how I'm feeling, because
get an app that locks stuff on your phone. There are apps that do that you can have behind a lock. And if your partner is going through your phone and sees that, first of all, red flag. Your partner should not be going through your phone.
Correct.
Period.
Correct.
Period. That is not, even if you were like, well, I've cheated in the past, it doesn't matter. If there is that little trust in a relationship, the relationship shouldn't be there. Right. I'm sorry. If it's a mutual thing, that's fine. But if that person then is like, you're locking this, why can't I see it? That's a red flag.
Right.
Because there's so little trust there that it's obviously.
Well, and there's also a level of controlling. I'm allowed to have access to anything.
All parts of you.
Yes, at any point in time.
There are some parts in my phone that maybe I don't want Corey to see. And it's not even like a cheating thing. I'm just like, maybe I was surprising you for a birthday, and I don't want you to look through my phone. Or maybe you're just ruin the surprise.
A person who's allowed to have privacy. You're allowed to have things that are just for you.
Bingo.
So, again, if you are someone who are questioning yourself and things, if there is a way for you to document in a safe way the series of events so that you can not get caught up when the conversation gets dizzying and gaslighting starts to happen and denial starts to happen.
Yeah, exactly. Number 2 is attack. The abuser shifts the focus to the survivor's credibility. This normally is mental credibility. For me, this was happening in my early 20s, and I was drinking as much as people in their early 20s do. Right. But every time I would drink, it would be used against me as, how, first of all, you were so drunk, you don't even know what you're saying. That literally never happened. And then it forced me into this, like, am I making shit up? Did that happen? And the night, by the way, the whole strangulation happened, I was drinking at like midnight. This happened at 6 a.m. Right. I had 2 glasses of wine, but they were like, the officers, fuck them, were like, I smell alcohol in your breath. Are you sure this is what happened? And I was like, first of all, I was drinking 12 hours ago or 6 hours ago, right, at midnight. I don't think that has anything to do with it, but they were like, you're acting erratic. We think you're drunk. Do you want to do a breathalyzer? Can we take you to the station? Like all of these things that it was like they were treating me like you're the fucking problem here. And I was like, you guys can just go. You can just leave and I'll handle it on my own from here on out. Right. Which guess what? Surprise, I didn't, because how the fuck are you supposed to, right, if you don't have anyone helping you? And people still to this day are like, if he was that bad to you, I don't know why you didn't press charges on him. And I was like, I literally fucking tried. So many times I tried.
Well, I'll also say that I know in certain custody situations, you have to...
Which, by the way, I was in an active custody battle at this point.
You have to document so much. And one of the things they ask is if the other person has a history of violence. And if you haven't filed anything, doesn't matter what your answer is. Doesn't matter if there's broken door frames. Doesn't matter if there's holes in the walls. It doesn't matter if another door was ripped off the hinges. It doesn't matter if things are being thrown. It doesn't matter if there wasn't a paper trail. And so, again, it's maybe you don't call because you feel like they're not going to help, or maybe you don't call because you're protecting someone. You're like, this is my husband. This is the father of my children. This is a person who it would devastate everything if they knew what he was doing. So I can't do that.
Right.
I would rather just deal with it and hide it and protect everything and brush it under the rug, because in your mind, you don't ever think you're going to get to that place.
Right.
You don't get married. You don't have children with someone unless you know it's an accident. But like, thinking I don't ever want to have this person in my life.
Right.
Regardless of whether or not you are in a relationship with them, if you choose to have a child, that's the keyword, choose. If you choose to have a child with them, you know that you're signing up for a lifetime with them. And so you don't want to ruin anything for them. And so you don't say anything. But then it comes back to bite you in the ass when someone with authority says, hey, is there anything on file?
Can you document it?
No. Well, can't do anything.
Yep.
Sorry about it.
Well, even if you did, because by the way, that's why whenever they came to me and I was in an active custody battle, and even though I didn't have Noah that week, or he wasn't anywhere near any of what was happening, had I gone to jail for that and it be recorded, then the people who were in the custody battle against me could have used that. And that's why I didn't file.
Right.
I couldn't even be so real about the abuse I was facing, because I was like, this will literally get my child taken from me.
That's why I like in the beginning of this, they don't just say that this is done by an abuser. It's also done by the judicial system
and fucking people that you're supposed to love you and care about you, and the judicial system. Yeah, all of it.
Because the judicial system doesn't care. It's facts over feelings every time. And if you don't have it in writing, you don't have it documented, or even if you do have it documented, then it can be used against you, like in your situation. And it is so fucking difficult to navigate. It's like playing chess, which I don't care how many times anyone tries to teach me how to play chess, I'm never going to learn. But that's what it feels like is, okay, if I move this piece, what repercussions are going to come 3, 4, or 5 moves down the line? And am I prepared to handle that? And if the answer is I don't know, then you just don't move.
Right. Yeah. You just don't move.
Once I make my move,
then you're free to take the queen or whatever.
Check the king.
There it is.
This
could
no. He's gonna sacrifice himself. Sorry.
Oh no. This could include bringing up past indiscretions, real or fabricated, because how the fuck are you gonna prove it? In the survivor's past, questioning the survivor's mental health, accusing the survivor of abusing drugs or alcohol. All of these things happened to me. Or asserting the survivor is the abusive one when really the survivor was reacting to the abuse being inflicted. Because also a thing that we might talk about eventually that is a real thing is called reactive abuse. And that could also come to play. And it's good to take accountability for that as well, by the way. If you're out of it, you should take accountability for that, because that is something that you potentially could take in new relationships, and you need to heal from that before you start a new relationship. Right. Really, truly. Like, that's something that I learned kind of the hard way.
And I also think we need to be very careful, and I mean we as a collective community need to be very careful when talking about reactive abuse, because like you said, if we're not taking accountability for it, we almost use it as an excuse.
Yeah, no, you can't. No, don't do that.
And then actual abusers can be like, well, I'm just reacting. Reacting.
Most of them are. Most of them, like I said, the ones that have abused me were abused in the past. It's why I fucking let so much slide, because I felt like I knew why they were doing what they were doing. And so I was like, it's easy for me to be like, God damn, I understand this happened to you, and I'm a strong person, so I can let you take it out on me if it's going to heal you and make you better. You are nobody's punching bag, nor should you ever be. And that is, they can figure their own shit out by themselves.
And they should.
Themselves away from you. There is no reason you have to attach yourself to that for anybody. Family member, friend, anybody. That is not on you. The abuser may even insinuate that the survivor wanted what happened, or that because the couple was married, the abuser couldn't have possibly sexually assaulted them. This happens too in like long-term relationships, which honestly, 100%, that is not true. You can be married to someone for 20 years, 10 years. You could be newlyweds. You could be dating someone for that long. You could be newly dating. Just because you have a title with them does not mean that they have any access to your body at any time ever.
Yep.
Ever. You have the potential to say no, and you should feel comfortable saying no throughout any point in that relationship forever.
Now, I do know there are certain states, though, that don't recognize sexual abuse within marriages.
And that's fine. Legally, I'm telling you personally.
Yes.
Know what's right and wrong. Know you can leave because of it. And
yes.
if it causes legal trouble, that's one thing. But just know on a moral level, you are allowed to leave because of that.
I just wanted people to know, because I know someone. Well, I know someone who experienced it, and in their state, it wasn't recognized.
It's fucking disgusting.
It is fucking disgusting. And I think
sexual assault's a very hard thing to get
anywhere.
A case against anyways. Yes. No matter what. But
I think some people, if they are in a state where that is the law, that they can then gaslight themselves into believing that that's not what's going on. And so, yes, personally, for you, that is something that you need to know.
If you need two other voices telling you, we will be that right now. That is not okay. It's never okay. And you're allowed to end your time with that person because of it.
Right.
The end result can be that the survivor feels bullied or disparaged into staying quiet, or may feel some sort of some sense of the abuse being their own fault. And this says, please be aware that trauma-related guilt is always a lie. To you, it's always it's a liar. Trauma-related guilt is going to sit there and tell you, well, if you would have reacted this way, maybe this wouldn't have happened. Well, if only you wouldn't have made such a big deal here, you probably could have. You don't have to walk on eggshells for anyone in your life. If they don't love you in all of your forms, and if they don't respect you, and not even love you, if they don't respect you in all of your forms, they are not worth any part of your time. As a person just living and breathing in this world, you are deserving of respect from everyone in your life at all times. You don't have to handle disrespect from anyone ever. That's why Corey doesn't feel bad telling Noah, hey, go in your room and figure those feelings out, because you don't get to disrespect your mom because you're feeling big feelings in your body.
Yep.
And as a man to man, my son is going to grow up very, very soon. And as much as I normally want to step in and be like, it's okay, I know he doesn't mean it, I can't do that, because eventually I don't want that to become a norm for him, where the woman in his life says, that's okay, I understand he doesn't mean it. No. We're not doing that. No. We're not doing that.
No. And we've said that before, that our responsibility as boy moms, and I know we talk about gender stereotypes and like gender roles in society and how like they're so fucking weird, but the patriarchy exists.
Yeah.
The power imbalance between men and women,
it's just real. We didn't do it. It's just real.
It exists. And part of our responsibility that we've like identified and acknowledged is making sure that the men that we raise don't play into the shit that was laid out for them.
Because how easy if he says, well, I'm having feelings from hormones and puberty, so I'm going to take it out on you, is him, oh, I had a hard day at work, so I'm going to take it out on my wife and my kids.
Yep.
Absolutely the fuck not.
Yep.
Never in your life will that be okay.
Right.
I don't care what you're going through. You don't get to treat other people like trash because you're feeling big feelings.
Right.
Learn how to feel those feelings and work through them in a different way.
Yeah.
And that's it. The third one is reverse victim and offender. So this is the final step, and basically it's a manipulation tactic for the abuser to secure their title of victim. Now, the biggest thing you have to know normally with abusers especially, they are so fucking insecure. They are so insecure, and the reason why they choose you or anybody to hurt is because they are hurting inside and they don't know how to, they hate that. There is like a self-loathing in there that they don't know, they don't have the emotional capacity to figure out how to regulate. And so the easiest way to do it is to find control and just power over someone smaller.
And I also feel like there's times where they seek other people as a source of internal fuel. Like I hate myself so much that if I find someone else who loves me more than I hate myself, then maybe it'll counteract it. But if they're not loving me how I want them to love me, then they're not doing a good enough job, because I wouldn't hate me if you loved me better.
Yeah.
And it's like, wait a minute.
That's not my job.
That's not my job, first of all. And second of all, you keep changing the game on me, because
you're moving the fucking goalpost.
Yes.
Every single time.
I thought I was doing the right thing, but now that's not the right thing anymore.
Well, it's never good enough, because the biggest fucking where the actual goalpost is I have to love myself. You have to get me there, and I can't carry you on my back. I don't have a big enough backpack. I'm sorry.
Right.
I can't bring you with me. You have to learn how to love yourself, and I literally can't do that for you.
And I think,
but I'm a good scapegoat if you can't.
This is me psychoanalyzing something ambiguous. Okay. I think that people, not everyone, but a group of people who grow up with those feelings, and they need somebody else to be responsible for all the issues in their life. They don't know how to take accountability, and it's almost like problems are someone else's fault. Someone else is to blame.
Always.
And if I can't find someone else to take this weight of this blame and shame off of me, then it's going to crush me. And I don't want it to crush me, and I don't know how to
so much crushing me.
I don't know how to set it down. I have to hand it to someone else. It has to be somebody else's fault. And they don't care that they're burying someone else under it.
Because it's like a big tangled thing of like yarn, okay? And instead of sitting there, which takes a lot of work to untangle the yarn, they're just like, you untangle it. I don't care that I'm burying you in tangled yarn. It's your job to untangle it for me. You better untangle it.
Get wrapped.
And fucking hand it back to me perfectly precise. Yeah. I need you to, or I'm going to fucking scream and yell at you about it.
I remember there was a time where I was having a discussion with someone, and I felt like they were not understanding what I was saying. And what I was trying to get across is it doesn't matter what I do. It doesn't matter what I say. None of it matters if you don't believe it.
Yeah.
And I can't get you to believe it. Love yourself, like yourself, think you're good enough. think that you're secure in a relationship, anything that this person is doubting. If you don't believe it, it doesn't matter what I do.
Mm-hmm.
And they're like, that's not true. That's not true. It's your job. It's your job. You're supposed to help me with this.
If I could fix everyone in the world, no one would be broken.
Period.
That's not how that works.
Well, I said, I'm ugly.
Mm-hmm.
They said, no, you're not. You're beautiful.
I'm telling you I am.
I'm ugly. No, you're not. You're not hearing me.
Mm-hmm.
It doesn't matter if you think I'm beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
If I think I'm ugly, then I'm ugly to me.
Fix it.
You can't tell me enough times that I'm beautiful, that I believe that I'm beautiful.
Mm-hmm.
So what are you not understanding here?
Mm-hmm.
I can't tell you you're enough. I can't tell you that I love you enough or that you are lovable enough to get you to love you.
Mm-hmm.
I actually listened to Selena Gomez the other day.
Great. I love her.
Lose You to Love Me. I know it's old, but it hits now for me. And I was like, holy fuck. I have a playlist that it's titled Hey, Me. And I immediately put it on there.
I really need that on there. Yeah. So this says, they might contend that the survivor has some vendetta to destroy them. Now I'm the victim. You're out to get me. Why would you do that?
By someone who wanted me dead.
God, I love that fucking song.
Me too.
That song hits me.
Were you writing a book?
They might say the survivor is lying in order to turn people against the abuser, to become more popular, to take away their children, or receive a larger divorce settlement. This is an ambiguous they. I'm just reading the motherfucking thing. I'm just reading. The abuser might claim they're a, quote, victim of the justice system. How many times do we see this? I can't see my kids because she fucking won't let me. Well.
Let's roll that back.
Let's dive into that. As somebody who's gone through court, who has 50-50 custody, who went through a pretty tough custody battle, tell me to me, Rachel. Tell me how that went for you. And I know there's going to be someone out there that's like, that really did happen. And it could. But at the same time, I hear so many people. And then when you dive into it, you're like, oh, you didn't even want 50-50. You were actually so quick to be a weekend parent that you were like, actually, I never even wanted 50-50 in the first place. But you can't wait when people hear you're a weekend parent to be like, yeah, that bitch wouldn't let me see my kids. I fucking hear it so often, and it actually makes me irate as someone who's gone through it. And I'm talking specifically in this town, because I hear it in this town, and I'm like, bitch, we all saw the same magistrate. Okay, I know you're lying because I know what the fuck she believes in, and I know that if you would have, if there wasn't something, you either are okay with getting that, or
there's a reason
that you got that.
There's a reason.
Anyways, they may use their socioeconomic standing. They may use any kind of race or gender to support their claim. Again, I see this a lot with guys being like, still to this day, people will look me in the face, a 50-50 parent, and say, yeah, mothers get full custody no matter what. And I'm like, that's literally not fucking real. That's not the case anymore. I'm telling you as somebody who did it 8 years ago that wasn't the case. That the magistrate looked me in the face and said, when we can, we want 50-50 custody. It's as important for that child to be with either parent. So if there is if the custody works out to anything other than 50-50, there's normally a reason for it. Normally, at least where I live. And I'm speaking specifically for me. But I think it's funny that people in my town will tell me that. And I'm like, that's not how that works anymore.
Well, because this is all varies by state.
Yeah, it does. I'm speaking about, again, go back to what we said in the very beginning. We are speaking specifically about our experiences. So if you're hearing this and you get fired up in some type of way and want to leave a comment, like, fine. But just know that I'm telling you right now.
No, I mean, and I think that if this doesn't apply to you and you are from a different place and you have a different perspective, that is what the comments are for, because we can't speak for everyone.
No, you can go ahead and share your own experience, but please don't try to attack us and be like, you don't know what you're saying.
Oh,
we're telling you that. We know that. We don't know what we're saying. We're talking about our experiences only here.
Yeah.
And I'm reading an article to you. All the while, the survivor's actual disclosure of abuse is overshadowed, and the survivor will end up spending more time trying to defend their reputation than receiving help for the abuse, which happens a lot. Again, I feel like I was having shit flying at me in two separate ways. Yeah. I had a custody support shit happening, and at the same time, I had abuse shit happening from two different people. And I had to be like, whew, this part over here is going to make me look bad to these people. But at the same time, so I'm trying to hide this part so that these people over here don't think I'm a bad person and try to take my kid away. But at the same time, I want people to know that this person's a bad person and I need to get away from them. I need help. But like, if you're going to use the fact that I'm asking you for help to take away the only person that's giving me a reason to live. Yeah. Then I don't want to I'll just stay and get my fucking nose broken. I'll just stay and get strangled every once in a while. I'll just stay and fucking get berated every single day and keep it a secret. And it's not the way to live. And that's why I fucking want to say this, is like, I want to scream it into the microphone for people who need to hear it, that there are ways out and that you deserve to be out. A survivor needs support during DARVO. That's what I know. And that's the next thing. It says it can be difficult to recognize an abuser using the DARVO tactic when you're a survivor in the middle of it. A lot of times because you question yourself. It's very easy to. This is specifically from Heather Kent. She is a registered psychotherapist, trauma recovery specialist, and an author of several books on surviving abuse. She says, quote, "Speaking as a survivor myself, when you're still in it, it's very hard to see what's happening. It's insidious. Often, it takes an outside person who witnesses it to kind of take you aside and show you what's happening and what's not okay." So this part's so fucking important, and I can't remember if we said it on a regular episode or on a Patreon, but I'm going to say it now because it's in the fucking article and that's what I'm reading. She encourages survivors who may suspect that they're being manipulated to please avoid a common suggestion from others, couples counseling. Quote from her, "The abuser is just going to gaslight you and call you the abusive one. And a therapist is not necessarily able to see what's happening and can then cause further damage and enable the abuse to continue. Survivors also face the risk of the abuser retaliating to them then in private, sometimes with violence, after disclosing incidents in front of a therapist. Even the threat of this can keep a survivor quiet indefinitely." So, as much as people are like, go to couples counseling, blah, blah, blah. If you suspect this, I have seen two people personally in my life go to the same therapist, couples counseling. And I was like, hey, I feel like she's not giving good advice here, because both people were dealing with very similar things. And I'm saying both women, okay? Because I knew what was going on in both relationships, but I also didn't know how to tell them, this is what I think is going on in your relationship. And both times that person fully sided with the man, kind of more so than not, because the women were so conditioned by that point to just remain quiet and let me walk on eggshells so passive. I don't upset you. Let me be passive. And that translated into letting the men then have a full hour to rant and rave and make this is why you're the problem. And that's all that therapist knows of you. It's that's all that person sees. So now they have full ammo to be like, well, why don't you try this? Then when you go home, that person, that guy can say, why aren't you trying this? The therapist wants you to try this. Meanwhile, none of the things that are actually the problem are being discussed. Right. Because you feel a need to protect that person. And it just creates such a certain scary situations
too. The women in these scenarios go in there. At least in the scenarios you're referencing.
My two personal ones.
They are going in there almost as like, what's the word I'm looking for? Like I'm dotting my T's and crossing my I's.
It's like a last ditch.
I'm just doing my due diligence here. I am going to come here to say that I came here. I'm going to do this to say that I tried.
I tried.
And honestly, I might not even actually talk the whole time. I might just nod and high five when we leave and say, wow, we did a great job in there. so that I don't have to
deal with the aftermath.
Yes.
Because you know the aftermath's not going to happen in front of that third party. They never fucking do.
No.
They never fucking do. They wait and they smile at that third party until you're in private, and that's when the fucking volcano explodes. Mm-hmm. Every single time. Quote, the solution is really to get out of the situation as soon as possible. That is it.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it. If you even suspect this might be happening, couples counseling will not save you. It won't even help you.
Here is something you can ask yourself. Do you feel like you are married or in a relationship with a bomb? Mm-hmm. One that the timer that's going off varies all the time. Mm-hmm. It could be longer, shorter. You actually have no idea. Mm-hmm. And there's no way to shut it off.
Yeah.
There's no way. And you're not exactly sure how big the explosion will be every time it goes off.
Every single time.
If that's what
your
you feel like.
Your house is a house of eggshells and you have to find a way to walk across it.
Yeah.
To not set the bomb off.
Yeah. If that's how you're feeling, take a peek, you know.
and this says a note. It says some experts say there are abusers who can reform, but the likelihood of repeat abusive incidents is so incredibly high. So again, this is a quote from Heather Kent. She says, I've never seen a situation where an abusive partner does a 180, goes to therapy, and then they live happily ever after. Ever.
And I think that part of that, do I think that people can be reformed and they can grow and they can change? I want to believe yes.
You do.
I never want to put someone in a box and say, you are the exception to the rule. You will never be better than what you are.
Yeah.
However, I do think that there are people who they could be good outside, but once they're with you, it's like they repeat the patterns of the past. It's almost like they can't.
It's like a
grow
training
with you.
Yeah. It's like I've been trained. I've been literally just like, what is that fucking word?
Pavlov's dog?
Yes. It's like I've been Pavloved when I'm with you that this is the behavior because it's so familiar.
Yes.
There's a familiarity there. No.
And there's
You're cut off. You go learn how to be better somewhere else.
And there's also familiarity for you of how you deal with it.
I can't imagine. I will say this. That person that I'm talking about, who I've said multiple times, would probably hear this and be shocked. And I will tell you why. I'm going to be so vulnerable in the fact that I've never actually even said this. I've seen that person multiple times since we broke up for good. And I've always been nice. I have been so cheery. So, hi, how you doing? Blah, blah, blah. I'm shaking on my fucking boots on the inside, but it is so he would probably go back and be like, what? Every time I see her, she's nice as fuck. I don't understand. She hates me. That's crazy. Every time I see her, she smiles in my face and acts like it's all cool because that was a survival technique. Mm-hmm. Because I literally am so fucking afraid when I'm around you that I don't know how. The only thing I can think to do is how can I appease you to keep myself safe and alive? Mm-hmm. And so to outside people, they probably would be like, oh, that's very confusing. And I know that I could never even be around that person again because I would just go right back into being passive, meek, sad little Sierra. It's like who the fuck I was conditioned to be around him.
Yep.
It's so sad. I can't even think about it. It's so sad. I have dreams about it. I have dreams that that's who I am still when I'm around him. And it makes me fucking sick when I wake up and think about it. Think about all the progress I made and how it's fucking gone.
Yeah.
When I wake up. So last thing I'm going to do one more thing and then I'll teach you how to, like what you can do in response to DARVO. But this is the last thing if you hear this and you're like, yeah, this sounds like something that may be a parent or a relationship. And I can see that, but maybe you don't have either of those and you're like, what the fuck does it have to do with me? I'm going to tell you about DARVO and how it can show up in the workplace. I think this is also very important. So Kent also cautions that the DARVO tactic isn't unique to intimate partner relationships, but it can also show up in a professional setting. This is a direct quote again. In workplace relationships, perhaps a boss might promise something or invite the employee to attend a meeting, and then the employee follows up on that, and the boss says, we never talked about that. And this is a way to tear down the self-esteem of the employee for egotistical reasons. The gaslighting individual, in this case, the boss or the coworker, wants to feel like they're in control. Typically, these people are highly insecure. So they feel threatened by other people who are recognized as competent and successful or well-liked in a way that's bigger than them. Again, it's all very insecurity based. So if this person is seen as a threat, or like they like her more than me, they think that she does a better job than me, they think that she's better at me than something, then all of a sudden that flips a fucking switch and I have to tear you down in some way.
I had a manager who did that to me when I was working retail. I was doing a floor set, which is something where you are changing the way that the store is laid out. You're like moving stuff around. And we were getting ready to finish up and leave. And she was asking if I was ready to go. And I said something like, this is so long ago, so I'm probably butchering it, but it was something like sarcastic.
Right.
Like, no, I think I'll just sleep here since I'm here all the time anyway.
Right.
Now, there was a time where I worked, went home, went to sleep, came back in and worked again because we were going to be evaluated, and I wanted our team to get 100%. And we did.
Yeah.
We did. I cried when we got our percentage because I was so proud of the work that we had done.
Right.
And she called me back into the office. And now, whenever I made the joke, everyone laughed.
Right.
I was very well liked by everyone that I worked with. And the other two managers were very friendly with me.
Right.
This was the only one who had an issue with it.
Yep.
And she called me back and she's like, so do you have an issue here? Do you not want to be here? And I'm like, what are you talking about?
Yeah.
I have proven time and time again
that I
bust my ass for this company when I don't need to.
Yep.
Actually, I do need to. I do need to work. However, I could go somewhere else.
Sure. Yeah.
I have a rapport with people that I am sarcastic. But if you're someone that I can't be sarcastic with, I'll note that.
Fine.
And we'll move on. But what you're not going to do is question my integrity as an employee.
Yeah. When I've proven it.
Yes.
That's insane. But also, I feel like anybody in the restaurant business can... Dude, we all have a story like that. I feel like with a manager who's power tripping. I mean, the whole fucking... The movie Waiting... it's very they clock a lot of the right things in that. Yeah. So I've also dealt with that with managers who are just kind of like power tripping, and it's like, you're well liked by staff, so now you're my enemy. And it's like, what are you fucking taking it out on me for?
Yeah, how about befriend me and I'll get you in with them?
Oh my God, dude, these are my people. Let me help you.
Do this smartly. What the fuck is your problem?
Right.
We could be quite the duo.
Literally.
God damn.
So how can you protect yourself from DARVO? Basically, the number one thing you can do, and don't worry, we did it for you, is to educate yourself. That's why we're doing these episodes. That's why I keep harping on them. That's why we're telling you our experiences. Education is key. Taking the initiative to educate yourself about DARVO and other manipulation tactics that are used by abusers is the number one way to clock it happening. And if you clock it, then you can tell yourself, let me start documenting things. Let me start getting all of my other ducks in a row. You know what I mean?
Yeah. If you are someone who has been hiding the whole time and hasn't let anyone know that things have been going on, I hate that I'm going to use this word, but suss out who your trusted people are.
Bingo. That's the next one.
Start confiding in them because when you finally have someone who you can be honest with and you can let your guard down and stop painting a picture that's fake anyway, then you have backup of someone who can say, you're not being crazy. This is not okay.
Wrong. That's not what happens in normal relationships.
Right.
Yes. Not to mention the knowledge that we just gave you from this, learning about the dynamics of these abusive relationships will honestly empower you. You can use that knowledge to be like, I know what's right and wrong. This isn't okay. This isn't normal. And it's very hard to be able to see that when all you've grown up seeing is abusive relationships. And so many of us, I feel like, can relate to that like, oh, I genuinely thought that screaming at each other, not talking to your partner for multiple days at a time, having those fucking Like
having someone scream,
shoving matches.
I'm
going to
divorce you, and then storming out, and then I don't know how long you're going to be gone. That's normal.
That's a normal thing to see. It isn't.
It's not.
It isn't. So
and then they come back actually really fast, and they're like, "Do you want to go to Schmextra Schmoed house?" And you're like, "Wait a minute, I thought you guys were getting a divorce. What's happening? I'm so confused."
The next thing you can do is seek support, like you said. Put those little liners out there. Experiencing gaslighting can result in feelings of extreme confusion, self-doubt, a diminished sense of self and self-esteem. Let me tell you something. Your sense of self is the biggest fucking thing that you can have, okay, with yourself. If you have pride, if you have things like that, all of those things can work against your sense of self, because your pride can be, well, I don't want to look silly in front of these people, and I've told these people that he's a great guy, so I don't want to make myself look silly. Your sense of self will be the one nothing is going to suffer like your sense of self. And when you fucking get that sense of self back and you realize who the fuck you are and who you're supposed to be, there is nothing more empowering and freeing in this world. And all of those things, pride, all of that, none of that matters. Nobody gives a shit. In the long run, they just want you to be safe and happy. Yeah. Literally, and if they don't, you don't need them in your life.
Fuck them.
You don't need them in your life. That's it. The next thing you can do, like we said, is document everything in the way that you can. If you can't record things, obviously, but there are ways that you can record things like Ring cameras. So if you need a conversation outside, take it on the front porch, if you need to, things like that you can maybe have side
loopholes.
Steps. Yeah, little loopholes with.
The other thing I wanted to go back with confiding in someone is a lot of times if you have been experiencing long-term, I want to not say abuse, because abuse sounds so bad, but then I go back to you saying choked and strangulation. It's like trying to minimize it.
Yeah.
But if you have been going through this emotional or mental or even physical abuse, oftentimes the abuser has been trying to isolate you from people.
Yes.
And that can either be really minimal by just being like, ugh, I don't want to go over there. They're annoying, or
but also I don't want you to go over there.
Yeah. I don't want to spend my day
thought that
like
we were going to hang out together, but you want to go over there? I don't want to go over there. Let's just have a night, me and you.
Yep. Or having a vocal disdain for people that you used to have around, so that hopefully you don't bring them around anymore. So if you are finding that, if you're to the point where you're like, I think I need someone to confide in, but I don't have anyone left.
Yeah.
There's someone there. There is someone there. And if not, I've seen so many people even anonymously write into the Fangens page.
Yeah, literally this community will do it for you. I promise. And if you just need an ear, somebody who can confirm, like, that's not normal. You're not crazy. You are strong. You can do what you need to do. That's a perfect place to look for it. Yeah. Really. And the last thing you can do is you can reverse DARVO to defend against gaslighting. So
Uno reverse, bitch.
Uno reverse. And those steps are D, detach. Detach and distance from the story. Practice detached empathy by distancing yourself from your own narratives and your own emotions, and this will help you stay grounded and less reactive. Number 2,
which pisses them off.
Pisses them off. That's where I mean, truly, that's where gray rocking comes in. Number 2, assert. That also pisses them off. Clearly and confidently express your needs and your boundaries. State your position without becoming defensive or aggressive. Okay? Just be gray rock them.
Especially, remember,
take their emotion out of it.
If anything is being communicated in writing, or if a conversation is being recorded between the two of you, remember,
could be used against you.
Remember, fact over feeling.
Yes.
Take the emotion out of it. You're allowed to have your emotions. Your feelings are valid. Have them.
Don't let them use it against you.
Don't give it to them.
No. Number 3, R, request. Make a specific request to address the situation or meet your needs. Clearly communicate what you expect from the other person. And that's period. No wiggle room. This is what I think a healthy relationship would look like. If you're not going to give that to me, then we don't need to be in a relationship.
Right.
And don't use these to fucking Jonah Hill somebody.
Yeah.
Understand what you're asking for. And if it's you trying to control a person or you trying to have a healthy relationship.
Again, don't weaponize this shit.
Don't weaponize it. Don't. I'll be so
swear
fucking
to God.
pissed, dude.
You're not going to like me when I'm mad.
Number 4, the V is for validate yourself. Label and validate your own feelings, needs, and experiences. Understand your perspective and emotions are valid, regardless of how the other person may try to manipulate or invalidate them. And number 5 is observe. Pay attention to the response of the other person. Assess whether they are willing to actively participate in resolving the situation and meeting your needs, or if they have an alternate agenda that may not align with your de-escalation or resolution.
When someone shows you who they are, believe them.
Mm-hmm. Don't try to make excuses for them. Fact over feeling, babe. Take everything they're showing you and don't try to be like, well, maybe they mean what they said.
They mean what they said. Their actions are their actions.
Hey, and an apology without actions behind the apology is just manipulation. So do not take anybody saying, I'm sorry, I won't do it again, and not putting actions behind that I'm sorry. Don't accept it. You don't have to. They are manipulating you to get you to be civil, to get you to be back down and calm. Don't do it. If they're not proving to you that they can be a better person, then you don't need to be with them or around them.
I just imagine that the divorce rate skyrockets and there's going to be like a Daily Mail article that's like, ladies and tangents killed the American family.
The DARVO divorce. Hey,
divorce.
I'm just saying, I never want
attorney. R, run it back.
V, vroom out of there, bitch.
Oh, object.
Ohio.
My kids yell OH at me all the time. I go, Ohio.
So cute. But here's what I want you to know. More than anything else.
Vroom out of there.
Vroom the fuck right out of that. Life is really fucking short. Life is really fucking short. And even when it's long, it goes by really fucking fast.
Mm-hmm.
And you don't have to sunk cost fallacy
mm-hmm.
your life away with someone who doesn't respect you as a person.
Mm-hmm.
Period. I don't care if you say they love me, they blah, blah, blah. Do they respect you? That is number one. If they don't respect you as a person and someone that they should care about, life is too short to be stuck with that fucking boat anchor.
And that's what I've always said.
I was trying to think of a better word, but I was like, what's something that could tie you down?
Ball and chain.
I'll never say that. I'll call you a boat anchor first.
Hey, stop being such a fucking boat anchor.
Anyways, I'm sorry,
oh my
everybody,
God,
but I hope that
they
helped.
really do be boat anchoring you to Sad Bitch Island, though.
I'm saying that's what, dude. Get your fucking boat anchor off my island.
No, I need to get off this island.
Oh yeah, you stay here. I'm gonna fucking catch a canoe.
I'm gonna vroom right out of here. There's a jet ski on the way.
Imagine. You ever seen someone upset on a jet ski? Never.
Never. And I never will.
Oh shit.
Wow. Hey, I hope that was helpful to you guys.
Me too. If it wasn't, apologies. Once again.
Hey, if it was, we're just going to go ahead and vroom out of here, okay?
And if it really was, invite us to your divorce parties. I'd love to come.
I would love to come. I'd love to receive more invites to that. We receive a lot of wedding invitations and baby shower invites. I would love to see more divorce party invites.
True.
In our mail.
So true.
Anyway, hey, we love you so much,
really
guys. Thank you again for hanging out with us. If you want to hang out with us more, you can at patreon.com/ladiesandtangents or come hang out with us live when we go on tour.
Yes.
Tickets are still available. Go find a city that's near you. Please.
But I'm actually begging.
And we'll see you there.
We're going to get in trouble if you don't.
Your mommy's going to be mad. Anyway, we love you so much. Thanks for hanging out. We'll see you next week.
All right.
We're out.
Goodbye.